I'm Captain Horse, and this is Nighthaze. So there's been a little bit of groundswell lately about trying other RPGs, especially if the only one you've ever played is D&D. So I'm swooping in here with a recommendation that is a little bit cheeky because it's a game I made myself. The sun is gone, the world is freezing over, and as civilized creatures crowd into artificially heated megacities, the opportunities for the ruthless to take what they can from the unfortunate multiply. But you've got more important things to worry about, like how are you going to make rent? This is the world of Sunjackers, the comic that that's been taking up most of my creative attention since 2017. But as time's gone on, I realised that the comic was never going to come close to telling all the stories that that world had to tell, which is one of the reasons that I started working on Nighthaze, a role-playing game set in the same world. If you're not familiar with my work, Sunjackers takes place in the grim cyberpunk future where everything sucks. It's not retro-futuristic at all. The characters spend their time dealing with algorithms, Uberization, and health insurance as much as street criminals and Robocops. And if you're not familiar with the pony stuff and you somehow ended up here, wow, you're in for a ride. Imagine 2020, but everyone is significantly cuter. In Nighthaze, you're likely to be stepping into the shoes of someone much like the characters of the comic. Underworld smugglers and thieves, planning heists, jockeying for power with organized crime, and taking what small victories you can against the overwhelming power of the mega corporations. But the system is flexible enough that you can probably take on any role in the society. Or any setting you want. I'm not your dad. The basics are pretty simple. You've got 5 attributes that measure 1 to 5, and you combine these with your skills to make your dice pool. Any dice that turn up 4 or higher are successes, and more successes is better. But everyone also has a pool of stamina, which you can use to add dice to any check. You burn it when you really want to try and get something done. But also stamina is the resource that spells are cast from, and it's your initiative for combat. And when you run out, you're at risk of falling unconscious.
What you'll find quickly at Nighthaze is that you'll have tons of options all the time, but everything comes with a trade-off. Power at a price. Get cybernetic implants, but you have to pay heliodrill upkeep on them. Take the risk of getting into melee range to pull off big melee combo attacks. Chug an energy drink to refill your stamina, while also increasing the risk of a bad reaction.
I've also tried to keep this all as accessible as possible, where the game's only as complicated as you want it to be, with the numbers small and a minimum of extra steps where possible. If you're wondering what kind of games Nighthaze is good for, the median game type is probably a heist. There's a much bigger focus on planning, preparation, stealth, and infiltration than games like D&D, but there is fully featured combat with a load of fun toys for throwing opponents around, interfering with the initiative order after battle starts, and setting up combos with your allies. 2 things I want the game to reward are teamwork, friendship is magic after all, and creativity, which is why the game is full of tools and items that have a clear effect, but it doesn't tell you what to use them for, and most of them are available to starting characters. I've included a link to the core document in the doobly-doo, which should have everything you need to get started on a game you run. At the time of writing, the core document is all there is. It's a development version, numbered 0.3. At some point I'll be putting up stuff like example encounters, or an example adventure or 2, so it'll be even easier to get started trying Nighthaze out. There's also a pretty active community for the game on my Discord server, which is where I'm going to have to speed bump you a little bit, because the easiest way to get into my server is to support me on Patreon. It's only £1 a month. This game has taken up a lot of my time in the last 3 years in bits and pieces, and the last 18 months in earnest, so I'd really appreciate the support. But the game and its documentation are freely available and will continue to be, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you're patient enough to wait for the answers. Anyway, I've got to get cracking if I'm going to get an animation out by the end of this year.